Even in the manuals, pesticide training, applicator training manual, list symptoms of pesticide poisoning. And we were shocked to find out that our symptoms that we had been having after coming in contact with the neighborhood sprays were indeed the symptoms listed as pesticide poisoning. We were horrified.
I think the bottom line is public awareness, hearings that will be held and probably will continue to be held, where all sides of this issue will have a chance to bring forth data which is supportive of their claims. Not just statements, not just accusations, and not just hysteria.
For more than 40 years, professional lawn care companies have seen to it that one can have a beautiful green lawn, free of unsightly weeds and destructive pests. The companies claim that because of modern technology, they use low concentration of chemicals that must meet various state and federal standards. However, a flap has arisen over alleged reactions to the lawn chemicals, which prompted Erie County legislator Mary Lou Rath to investigate those claims.
There were 3 resolutions that asked for information and for a hearing in the legislature, and it was prompted by a letter from the Environmental Management Council of Erie County, which is chaired by Councilman Hal Collier from Amherst. And they have been looking at the issue for a year or longer.
This particular issue that we have raised comes to us from a number of residents who have contacted our members because of the fact that they feel that the lawn spraying has caused some environmental problems to them and to others in Erie County. In no way are we looking to interfere with businessmen or anything like that. We would like some research done by the county legislature to find out what the regulations are, if they have to be improved. We want to work directly with the Department of Environmental Conservation and the Erie County Health Department.
We regulate the chemical, we regulate the availability of the chemical, and we regulate the user on how it's applied. So the issue now is that the public are becoming very educated. Western New York's publics are extremely well educated in toxics. The questions that were accepted or hidden in the back of your mind are being asked now. And the individual next door is saying, why do I have to be subjected to a pesticide that I'm not paying for? It's my neighbor who's getting it. I don't want to be impacted.
Lawn care specialist Richard Stedman heads up the Western New York Lawn Care Association, comprised of 16 professional lawn care companies in the Buffalo area. Its primary mission is to inform and educate the public and provide them with a reliable source of information on the safe use of lawn care products.
Are the companies abiding by the various state and federal regulations?
Yes, they are. Yeah, I feel very good about that. I feel good about the industry that we're in, the job that we're doing. There are regulations in place now, and I would say that as a whole, the industry is. I certainly cannot speak for every lawn care company, but as a whole, yes, I think the industry is abiding by the rules and regulations that are presently in place. We have had a check by DEC at our company, and we have come through that very clean.
Karen Blake of the town of Tonawanda is the co-founder of HELP, H-E-L-P, which stands for Help Eliminate Lawn Pesticides.
I believe the laws that are now on the books as far as regulation are inadequate with the amount of usage in a suburban area. I believe these guidelines and regulations were originally formed for use in agriculture. When you get involved with 100 acres or whatever you want to say in a suburban area, the amount of people is astronomical. And with our, say, 50-foot wide yards, there is no way that a company can fog trees and bushes and not have other people exposed.
Legislator Rath called for an informational hearing on the issue in the Amherst Town Hall. 275 people showed up to testify on chemical lawn spraying, practically all of them property owners, and most of the testimony was highly emotional.
As my son rode by on his bicycle, he was directly hit with the spray. The applicator made no attempt to stop spraying as he passed by. His clothes and skin were wet with the mist. He arrived home with red, sore, swollen eyes, chest pain, a sore throat, and was extremely irritable.
Some folks would call and say their dog or cat was seriously ill and had to be taken to the vet. The diagnosis from the vet was that the animal was affected by the chemicals sprayed by the lawn care company. Some animals, unfortunately, died.
He had been commissioned to spray the lawns, and I asked him to stop because it was coming in on the children's food and was in white gobs on their sandwiches from the drift near the school window. He refused.
Once you are sensitized to a chemical, it is not uncommon from then on for that person to be sensitive to the slightest amount of innumerable chemicals.
Are you aware of any specific health claims against any lawn spraying companies?
No, I'm not. No, not at all.
We heard talk of drifting.
I really don't think that in the lawn care applications, the nozzles on the handguns that we're using, the volumes of water, the particle size, I really don't think that drift is a serious problem. Not that it hasn't on occasion in the past, but I don't think that we should get drift and volatility mixed up.
Fran, I think there is valid concern. I'm not saying that there's a problem. I'm saying right now that there's valid concern about the spraying for weeds and the lawn spraying, and that I'm willing to bet that there is spraying that's going on right now that is harmful to the environment. On the other hand, I'm probably willing to also say that there may be some spraying or a reasonable amount of spraying that's probably done in an innocuous and a reasonable manner with the right concentration and the right chemical.
Personally, and I'm not speaking for the industry, I'm speaking for myself, if there is a problem with a particular industry, a particular applicator, I think that we have an obligation to notify the state regulatory people that we feel there is indeed an infraction and let them take that from there because they have the legal means to do so.
What is the bottom line on this issue as far as you're concerned?
Well, I would like them to stop using these poisonous pesticides in residential areas. I don't think it can be done safely, no matter what they say. There are too many people all over the country getting sick.
What do you tell your constituents inquiring about professional lawn care?
I am telling them that if they have been comfortable with it, and if none of their neighbors has suggested to them that they've had any discomfort, that they continue along as they have been and just keep an eye on this issue. There's no reason for a knee-jerk reaction.
What do you tell the consumer who may want to have this service but is confused and frightened over this volatile issue?
Well, Fran, at the present time, we're a very heavily regulated industry by both federal and state regulatory agencies, and rightly so. I think as lawn care applicators, we have no problem with that. That we have the expertise to diagnose a particular problem and recommend the right compounds for that job and make the application in a very professional manner.
Is it time to shut them down? Don't know yet. But is it time to ask questions on their practices and even ask questions of ourselves as the regulator? If we see a major problem, I think you're going to see action on our part. On the other hand, if we see no problem, then I think we're going to have to come out as reasonable government and say, we've done a study, we're not in agreement, but environmentally, here's our facts and here's our findings, and if somebody wants to challenge it, so be it.